You remember this? We call this Follow-Up Thursday, and we get this email from Amanda. It was about the dude that was going on his bachelor party, and his fiance is like, yeah, you can have that bachelor party, but I got a whole bunch of rules for you. And he's like, rules? I don't need your stinking rules. And then I don't even think he checked in with her. So Amanda McCall says, hey, Bert Show, P1 here. Hello. Love the show. Listen to the podcast every day. Love to get a follow-up on the story from the beginning of August. Chip. How do you guys remember even the names of people? It's amazing to me.
So impressive.
Mm-hmm. Chip wrote the show asking for advice about situations his fiance had placed on his bachelor, or stipulations his fiance had placed on his bachelor party weekend, but failed to include the pertinent details as to why she would have placed all those stipulations in the first place. Do you guys remember this?
Vaguely.
His fiance heard the segment, followed up informing the show of Chip's infidelity. That's right, at a previous bachelor weekend. All right, you remember this?
Yes. So his fiance created a ton of rules for his bachelor party. She wanted 4 pictures to be posted before 7 p.m. She didn't want anyone to think that she was being disrespected during this trip. She wanted the best man to call her every 2 hours. She was against strippers and tattoos. Plus, she warned him she would check his body of signs of another woman. Her rules were kind of outlandish, but according to her, it was for good reason. In the update, his fiance reached out and mentioned that 8 months prior, he went to his best friend's bachelor party because he hit us up with all these rules. And then she hit us up afterwards saying, oh, there's a reason for the rules.
Yeah, it seemed ridiculous at the time. So hearing one side of it, we're like, oh my gosh, she is being ridiculous, until she hit us up.
Yes. So at a previous bachelor party, the girlfriend of another guy sent her a video of her man, her now fiance, making out with another woman. She thought her rules would deter him from having a wild bachelor party, but instead he went MIA and she didn't hear from him. Tommy attempted to reach out to Chip for an update, but he didn't respond. His fiance did. Once he came home, he mentioned that the point of the weekend was to get everything out of his system. She asked about what he got out of his system, and he said it was none of her business. She was worried and mentioned she had a lot of thinking to do. What's happened since?
Hi, Bert Show. I'm sorry that Chip isn't responding to you. It doesn't surprise me. We did get married. It's been a little over a month.
Congratulations.
Yeah, sounds like a very solid foundation. It's great.
I have no problem saying this because I am not afraid of him hearing it. It was a huge mistake. We had been fighting for several weeks leading up to the day. Like a lot of people, we were more afraid to call off the wedding than to go through with it. We were afraid of what our friends and family would think. We also know they had already spent a lot of money. And ultimately, we were hoping this rough patch would pass and that we would regret calling off the wedding only to have to plan it all over again. Well, we haven't thrown in the towel yet, but I can say that nothing has gotten better. In fact, our family doesn't know this, but we ended up not even going on our honeymoon. We decided to get refunds and future credit for as much as we could. We didn't want to be miserable on the trip with each other. So we decided to save the trip until we knew we would enjoy it. Who knows? Maybe we can use it for our 1-year anniversary and look back on all we've been through and have a real reason to celebrate making it 1 year. However, I would like to say from experience that the absolute best thing to do is call off the wedding. It's better to be embarrassed than to feel miserable or stuck. It's better to waste the money on non-refundable wedding vendors than a divorce. And if you are able to get beyond things, it is better to enjoy the big day on the other side of the drama than to be miserable on your big day. Hope that makes sense. Hopefully, you'll check in with me in a year and things will be better. Fingers are crossed.
Ooh,
That's a bummer.
that's a rough start, right?
That's super rough.
Because aren't those first couple of months, I mean, those supposed to be like intoxicating. You're newlyweds. Like, I understand they say the first year
It's the hardest.
And I think that's financially based, right?
I thought it was everything.
I thought it was everything. Yeah, I thought it was all encompassing.
But when it starts off like this and the lack of communication and disrespect heading into that bachelor party, I think the writing was on the wall there.
There was a lot of writing. On
Lots
the
of
wall.
graffiti.
So much graffiti.
Yeah.
Like they're not going to be able to cover up graffiti.
And we seem to get a lot of emails from people asking that question, too. When you got the drama right before the wedding, is it better to go through with it, or is it better to just call it all off? And maybe this will help in situations like that.
It does feel like we're getting more and more emails like this now. Like, I don't know if there's some kind of revolution happening now where people are like, you know what? I know that this isn't going to end well. I know for sure. but I'm going to go through with the wedding anyway. And then we get these emails a couple of months later saying that was stupid. So just don't do it, man.
Don't do it.
Just don't.
The Bert Show.
Like what you just watched? Well, you can get way more of The Bert Show on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you get your favorite podcast.